they're pretty accurate. I think they're accurate. SBNO are good source guys. I've
Guys,
seen them a lot on Twitter.
I have a question about this video. How likely is it that you have? It looks like he's in camo, but let's ignore that part in case I'm wrong. How likely is it that you have somebody on a roof within shooting distance of the president who isn't spotted by Secret Service snipers until he's already started pulling a trigger? He's just been sitting there. I don't understand this. He was just sitting there with a gun aiming at the president, and the snipers didn't notice until he pulled the trigger, and then they found him and they shot him. Like, what, is that even likely? Every rooftop is scanned. All the shooting lines are plotted.
You would think that they would. You would think that the Secret Service is looking up there on top of buildings at all times to make sure that somebody's not up there, right?
As someone who has done multiple rallies and multiple events for the president, I worked with the counter sniper team, and as much as we want to imagine that it's 100% proof, it's not. There's a limited amount of counter snipers that are, doing advanced teams. We do, we send out advanced teams to scout other buildings and open areas. Some of them are covered by buses. Some of them are covered by glass or whatever, bulletproof glass.
He's just cut out. Yeah. I'm not sure if anyone else has seen those sources, and I do see that we do have Myron here as well. Go ahead, Suleiman.
Yeah, I was gonna go to Myron.
Don't they have helicopters that fly? Doesn't the Secret Service have helicopters flying over to make sure there's not somebody standing on top of buildings?
They do fly over, not always as the president is talking, but they do fly over every site usually. But the counter sniper teams are not on those helicopters. So the counter sniper teams are in. Is it
your thoughts? So it goes to the question, kind of, because I'm going to link it to Andrew's question, and the question of, responding within seconds. So the shooter was allegedly shot within seconds, from the first shot. But we did get reports that there's been, Suleiman, you were there when the shots happened. 4 to 8 shots. But if it was shot within seconds, does that mean that likely there's another shooter? And then Andrew.
It's because so then doesn't that sound like, and this is a question to Jose if his mic continues to work. If not, even Myron asked Myron to come in because he was also a Fed in the past. But basically, it sounds like because we heard multiple shots, but we didn't hear the angle of from where it was. So it could be some of those shots were from the shooter,
Secret Service.
The others were from the Secret Service. So
correct.
Go ahead.
I was going to say it could be from the Secret Service because, like I said earlier, as the president is speaking, Secret Service is always scanning the crowd, always looking for weapons, always looking for that abnormality and for those possibilities. Our motto was, take no chances. So I'm pretty sure if those other shots were from the Secret Service, it was almost instant, as they saw.
But then how could he? But then the question is, how did he make it onto the rooftop in the beginning? Andrew's question earlier. And by the way, Nancy Pelosi did comment just earlier, about 10 minutes ago. I thank God that former President Trump is safe. That's from Nancy Pelosi 12 minutes ago. Go ahead, Mr. Vargas.
So every building that any protectee goes to, Secret Service has jurisdiction. It's like an invisible bubble, but they don't have ultimate jurisdiction or even the capacity to look at every single building that surrounds that venue. They can control the venue that the protectee is in, or the president in this situation, and the surrounding areas. But there is no way of them having access to every single building. Now,
I understand that, sir. My confusion is this: it seems a logic fail, right? If this person can sit on the roof and either shoot or assume he didn't shoot. Let's say the person in the crowd shot, and the shots go off and they jump all over Trump, and he doesn't have time to scurry off a roof before he's assassinated and killed. He must have been within sniper view. He must have been on a roof within sniper shot of the Secret Service. They're constantly scanning every single rooftop like they're scanning the crowd. How did this person get on a roof, sit on a roof, end up killed instantly after the shots were fired without being detected in advance? Because if he was hard to find, he wouldn't have been found at all. He would have been off the roof before they killed him. Something is very strange about this person just managed to get it on a roof within sniper shot of the president and sit there and chill and get rounds off and then instantly get taken out. I don't know. We've all seen Batman Begins. It's kind of like Joker wants all the people who did the job dead. It just seems very strange to me that how this person was allowed to just sit there because he was only within sniper view.
No. Just to add to what Andrew just said, there's another video that's come out. It's from a live witness who said that he saw the shooter of President Trump on the roof for a few minutes. And he said this was while the police and Secret Service ignored him despite having been shown the shooter earlier. And then he said Secret Service blew his head off. So this is from a claimed witness. And this
Is that from the one from the BBC?
From the BBC, yeah.
Yeah, I didn't need. It's a 4-minute video. We're about to put the transcript out. But yeah, so what does he say again? So can you just brief us again what he said? I'm guessing you listened to it.
Oh yeah, I just kind of it's halfway through posting now, so I went past it.
Oh, okay. Yeah, we'll be posting it with the transcript earlier. But you said he saw the shooter at the top of the rooftop. Did he say how many shots were fired for a few minutes?
Yeah,
before he was shot?
Yeah, he says live witness says he saw President Trump's shooter across the roof for a few minutes. This was why the police and Secret Service ignored him despite having been shown the shooter earlier. But we'll play the video in a second.
So he was allowed to sit on the roof. He got his shots off, and then before he could talk, he was killed. To this logical conclusion. He was put on that roof. He was allowed to be on that roof. Everyone protecting Trump was told not to kill this man until he'd already shot.
I'll play it now if you want, so everyone can hear it in the audience.
If the audio quality is good, Vargas will get your thoughts. Can you try the audio quality?
Let me know if it's fine.
No, it's really bad. It's really bad, Suleiman. Vargas, go ahead. Vargas, go ahead and send it. Ricardo can stream it from my account. Vargas, go ahead.
No, I don't. I'm not disagreeing with you, Andre, but I think it's
go on, Jose. I think your mic's terrible though. You need to sort it out.
Yeah, can you hear me?
No, that's it. Yeah, so what did they say? So because you got to fix your mic, man.
Along, they point at him, and the police.
I'll be streaming it shortly. I've just sent it through to the team to try to stream it from my account. The audio isn't too clear, and the tweeting team is coming up with the transcripts. Tristan, I'll be bringing you up in a second. He's going to bring someone down from stage. Andrew, thoughts, and then we'll go to
yeah, you know what's really interesting to me is that we talk about world governments all the time. We talk geopolitically, and we pretend that America's the only failed nation, and it's not. Like, Putin will kill you, as will bin Salman. He'll kill you. Most countries around the world are perfectly happy with assassination. I think the difference is, in these other nations, you know who the ruler is. If you're in Russia, you know that Putin's in charge. And if somebody dies, you know that Putin probably decided that that person ran his mouth too tough. And you know who not to upset, and you know who to pay respect to. What's very interesting is we're sitting here, all of us as political pundits, I guess, and none of us have a fucking clue who's in charge of America. Nobody has a clue. Everybody just sat and watched Joe Biden fail in that debate so fantastically. And nobody's then come to the us know who's in charge of us in the Western world. And to me, that's a lot scarier. If I lived in Turkey, I'd know not to piss off Erdogan, and I'd say, okay, don't piss off. Where they have such a stranglehold on this false democracy and such a stranglehold on the fiat currency and such a stranglehold on the media machine that they are hiding in the dark. They're operating from the shadows, and they have absolute anonymity, which means they do not face any consequences for anything they do on any level. I said this on the last podcast I did. I said this to somebody who was calling me a conspiracy theorist, as they often do. And I said, the reason you don't think assassination happens is because you're not capable. But anyone who understands human nature, anyone who understands the darkness of life, and I've been fortunate and unfortunate enough to see the worst sides of human nature, knows that assassination crosses everyone's mind. On you, or there's a time that guy fucking punched you, or whatever it was, you have it's crossed your mind, and what stopped you was your lack of capability to achieve. If you had a button you could press that made that person go away, and you would never be held responsible for it ever. Every single person listening to this at some point would press that button. And that's what these people have, because we don't know who the fuck they are. So if you think that all of us here, along with Trump himself, along with the Boeing execs, along with anyone else, isn't on a list of troublemakers
and there's just two updates while you're speaking, Andrew. Number one, Biden has commented, and he said, so President Biden said the following: "I'm grateful to hear that he's safe and doing well. I'm praying for him and his family and for all those who were at the rally as we wait for further information." That came in 2 minutes ago. Also, I'm going to play that video of a bystander being interviewed by the BBC. It's a 4-minute clip that everyone's talking about. Ricardo, if you could stream it now, that would be good. Let's see if the audio is good.
And watch and listen to the rally, right? We couldn't see him, but we could hear him. So we walked up, and probably 5 to 7 minutes of Trump speaking. I'm estimating here. I have no idea, But we noticed the guy crawling, bear crawling up the roof of the building beside us, 50 feet away from us. So we're standing there, we're pointing at the guy crawling up the roof.
And he had a gun, right?
He had a rifle.
A rifle.
We could clearly see him with a rifle. Absolutely. We're pointing at him. The police are down there running around on the ground. We're like, "Hey, man, there's a guy on the roof with a rifle." And the police were like, "Huh, what?" Like they didn't know what was going on. We're like, "Hey, right here on the roof. We can see him from right here. We see him. He's crawling." And next thing you know, I'm thinking to myself, why is Trump still speaking? Why have they not pulled him off the stage? I'm standing there pointing at him for, 2 or 3 minutes. Secret Service is looking at us from the top of the barn. I'm pointing at that roof, just standing there like this. And next thing you know, 5 shots ring out.
So you're certain that the shots came from that guy on the roof?
100%. 100%.
And he was up there for a couple of minutes.
He was up there.
You saw him up there for a couple of minutes.
Absolutely. At least 3 to 4 minutes.
And you were telling
the
police and the Secret Service?
We were telling the police. We were pointing at him for the Secret Service, who were looking at us from the top of the barn. They were looking at us the whole time when we were standing by that tree.
Could they see
binoculars?
Could they see him?
Probably not, because the roof, the way the slope went, he was behind where they could see. But why is there not Secret Service on all of these roofs here? I mean, this is not a big place.
Did you see, obviously everyone, when the shooting started, everyone was very panicked. Did you see what happened to him at all?
Oh, yeah, they blew his head off.
Okay, sorry.
Secret Service blew his head off.
Okay, we just be careful because we don't quite know who's watching, but you're pretty sure they shot the guy?
Absolutely, 100%.
Okay.
Yep.
You saw that happen?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
And did you see them go up to him afterwards, or?
They crawled up on the roof. They had their guns pointed at him, make sure he was dead. He was dead, and that was it. It was over.
Wow. That was unexpected. Initial thoughts, guys?
That was shocking. I want to bring in Myron if possible. Myron, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here, man. Thanks for bringing me up in the space.
Yeah, no problem. What's your initial thoughts about, I know you've got some experience, you were a Fed before.
Sure. Yeah,
but
for
in
the
terms
audience.
of, this witness is claiming that they had seen this guy climb into the roof. They had pointed him to the police. They had pointed him out to the Secret Service. And then it was a few minutes later after the shots were basically, the shots went off.
Yeah, so real quick for the audience, for those that might not know who I am, Myron Gaines, I used to be a special agent with Homeland Security Investigations. I've done Secret Service details in the past, so I'm very familiar with how Secret Service works. And what I will say is I'm not surprised because Secret Service guys, unless you work on the job, they're I would call them almost like a dying agency. What I mean by this is that they have very high leave rates. People quit Secret Service all the time. They're one of the most divorced agencies. A lot of them, are overworked and they're understaffed. And I'm not surprised that they didn't have someone on the roof there because for years, people have been leaving Secret Service to go to FBI, to go to HSI, etc. We have so many Secret Service agents that transferred just to us because they don't do investigations. 99% of what they do is protection work, and protection work, guys, is very boring. It's really tiring. It really sucks, right? You could be watching a garbage can for like 10 hours a day. So I'm not surprised that they have such high attrition rates. But with that said, that's ridiculous that they have somebody over at that building and that individual is able to crawl up. And Secret Service heavily relies on other agencies to help augment them when they're doing rallies and stuff like that. For example, I was called in to do the UN back in like 2017 to help with protecting, foreign dignitaries. So they're very low staff. So I'm not surprised that happened. But it's ridiculous that wasn't even able to pass by. And this guy saw the shooter before Secret Service did.
I do have a breaking thing here. So Biden is to address the nation after the Trump assassination attempt that just came out just now.
Yeah,
we know what time?
Yeah, I was going to ask that question. And there's a statement, by the way. In the statement, I forgot one last part. It's pretty useless, but I'll read it out anyway. since it is the president. He says Jill and I are grateful for the Secret Service for getting him to safety. There's no place for this kind of violence in America. We must unite as one nation to condemn it. Do we have the time, Chief?
No, yeah, I'm waiting for BNO to give the time.
And one last thing I did want to say is, they're definitely going to, spark up their forces more after this because they have, been understaffed for a very long time with Secret Service. It's hard to find agents. So, but that is wild that they did a rally in Pennsylvania and they didn't have everyone on every roof.
So when you say it's wild, is this something that is incompetence, or many people would assume that it could be something a bit more nefarious?
I think incompetence is just not having the staff. Like I've known this for years that Secret Service just doesn't have enough guys. That's one of their biggest problems. I mean, now the American public's going to know, but that's been one of their biggest problems as an agency for a long time.
Myron, one of the things that Andrew brought up was that if you look at like any president that is an enemy of the U.S. warmongers, they usually get targeted far more than one time for assassination attempts if they get targeted once. It's they keep going after them and after them. Look at what they've done to Maduro over the past few years in Venezuela. Do you think that this is going to be a one-off situation, or do you think that Trump is under constant threat leading up to November and throughout his presidency? And how do you think that the Secret Service is going to respond to this new threat?
Secret Service is gonna have to step it up. They're absolutely gonna have to step it up. I think it's unacceptable that they didn't have somebody on that building. That's absolutely ridiculous. And someone with like Trump, who's extremely divisive and he has a lot of enemies. I mean, half the country automatically hates him just because. They're gonna have to step it up and bring more guys over on his detail. This is the thing. A lot of times they get lazy. And here's the other thing too. Once the president leaves the office and they give him his own security detail, that security detail isn't as big as when he was in office, right? So they probably did beef him up to some degree because he's running again, but he's still not going to have the same level of protection as like a Joe Biden, for example, who's the sitting president. So they're going to have to give him damn near sitting level
How many
levels.
guys do you think are on his detail? Myron, how many guys do you think are on?
It's tough to estimate, man. And the other thing too is that the president does have a say in who's on his detail as well. If he doesn't like guys, he might say, no, I don't want this guy on, etc. So I don't know, because that's really up to the president. Does have a lot of discretion, especially once they leave. When they're sitting president, they don't have as much power as when they leave. When they leave, they have more jurisdiction. How many guys they want.
Myron, I'm not sure if you saw the video, the two clips of allegedly two shooters, according to ABC Australia and BNO. I would still say it's unconfirmed. I've just pinned it at the top. There's two clips there, if you want to see it. It was posted about
I'll check
18
them
minutes.
out.
Yeah, check them out. One is 14. Both of them are about 14 seconds. Can you quickly watch them? It's only 14 seconds. Give us your thoughts on the two clips, and then give us again a recap of the shooter on the roof and the rifle he has and how long it took. I know you said they're understaffed. So you're saying it's not surprising, in your opinion, that it took that long for them to? Because they apparently they according to the eyewitness, they allegedly spotted the shooter, but it took them a while to shoot him.
Yeah. I mean, they've had problems with getting agents for a long time, guys. And I'm sure the American public doesn't know this, but Secret Service and the U.S. Marshals are two agencies that.
What would the protocol be for Trump's meals? What's the protocol for Trump's fucking lemonade on the golf course? Like, what are the protocols for all of these things now? Once you're on that list where they decide you have to go, and you're no longer even safe inside of a maximum security prison, I don't know how far Secret Service even goes. But I don't think they're going to just try and wait for him to do another rally and get someone else to try and shoot him. I don't think that they're so unoriginal.
Real quick, there's another update from CBS. Biden's campaign suspends all outbound communications, including TV ads, after Trump assassination attempt. That just came in from CBS.
Can you say that again?
So the Biden campaign suspending all outbound communications, including TV ads, after Trump assassination attempt. So just any like attack ads against Trump are holding off on.
And Myron, a question for you. First, have you watched the clips? Your thoughts on these? And second, would Trump stay away from the limelight after this incident? Would it become more cautious? Could he cancel a lot of events? What do you expect to happen next from a security perspective?
Yeah, I'm looking at this now. That's completely fucking unacceptable. That guy was able to get on top of that building like that. That is crazy to me. That's a Secret Service fuck up. You know, obviously it's good. We're gonna get more information and see who the fuck this guy was and identify him and figure out what was involved there. But especially with someone like Trump, man, as divisive as he needs the utmost protection. And you know, people are gonna come after him. You know, just like Jackson Andrews saying, right? People are skeptical and they're rightful to be so because people do want Trump gone. He is an anti-warmonger, like a lot of people say. So, yeah, that's unacceptable that he was able to get on top of that building. Complete security failure from the Secret Service. Like, what the fuck, man?
We have
Wow.
other former Secret Service personnel about to come up as well, but you know that your feedback there after seeing the clip is different to what we heard earlier. Earlier, you were saying, Myron, it's not surprising considering how understaffed the Secret Service is, but now after seeing this video,
well, it's both.
It's a more extreme security failure.
Yeah, I think it's a security failure and they're understaffed. It's both.
We're going to play another clip here. It's a bit of a long one, so I'll halt it after a bit. But this is another spectator here that saw Trump got hit. We'll play about a minute of it. Ricardo, when you're ready.
That you may have witnessed this, and I'm so sorry to be talking to you in this tragic moment, but can you describe what it is that you saw?
I was attending the rally. I was in the set of bleachers, the very far left of the podium where President Trump was speaking. You know, I was there with friends. I heard several gunshots. The man beside me suffered a gunshot wound to the head, was instantly killed, fell to the bottom of the bleachers. Another woman looked like she got hit in the forearm or hand. And then at that point in time, it was rather chaotic at that point because half the people were looking because they thought it was fireworks. I knew it was gunshots right away. My friend, you know, hit the deck. I was kind of looking around trying to see where the shots were coming from.
Let me just jump in here. Let me jump in here. Just Elon posted something, if you can pin it, 9 minutes ago. So it's a piece, I don't know what the publication is, about a discussion. Everyone can check Elon's latest tweet. Thiel and Hoffman talking about Trump. So I'm going to read out that segment here that Elon just posted. Then, in what one source described as, quote, the dagger, and another as a, quote, twist of the knife, Peter Thiel, sarcastically thanked Hoffman for funding lawsuits against Trump because they had turned him into a, quote, a martyr, thereby increasing his chances of re-election. And Nick Fuentes, I'd love your thoughts on this. Elon just posted, quote, yeah, I wish I had made him an actual martyr. And on that uncomfortable note, the exchange ended. Both Hoffman and Thiel did not respond to emails requesting comment. Just going to post this at the top. Initial thoughts from the panel. Nick, not sure if you want to take this one first.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, and Reid Hoffman is a mega donor for the Democratic parties in the top 10 every cycle. And he also admitted recently that, he's worried about Biden and his ability to make it through the race and his chances of winning. And on the other side, you have Thiel. And what's interesting about Thiel, of course, is that Thiel's protege, J.D. Vance, who just got elected in Ohio and seated last year after winning in 2022, is now odds on to be the vice president. According to election betting odds, he's got about a 35% chance. Insiders say it's a dead heat between him and Marco Rubio. And
Elon, I'll let you continue. Elon just tweeted again 50 seconds ago the video we were talking about earlier of that BBC eyewitness. He quote tweeted it. He said, so if you can mute. All right. So he said, the head of the Secret Service, whoever's unmuting, please make sure you mute. Sully, I think it's you. He says the head of the Secret Service and the leader of the security detail should resign. That came in from Elon less than a minute ago. Sorry, go ahead, Nick.
Yeah. So of course, Thiel saying that, of course, Thiel has coalesced around Trump along with all of the other big tech guys. They had that big fundraiser at David Sachs' home in California back in June, and that was brokered by a guy named Jacob Hellberg. And I think what's interesting, and this is what Andrew Tate is saying, is the question, of course, is whom. It's always who benefits. When these kinds of things happen, of course, we'll never know the real answer. Of course, you already have people doing perception management, which people should look up. That's what they do. People come in and they try to control people's perception of the event. And so, whatever the facts are, they'll sway in the the direction. It was a lone gunman, or maybe it was some other thing, which is why, by the way, it's very important people archive everything now and get it offline, because it's always in the minutes and hours after these kinds of events when the real information comes out. And then within a month, it gets memory hold. That happened with Parkland. It happened with a lot of the school shootings. So it's very important to get that information offline, not even on like Internet Archive, because they'll scrub that. That's one. But two, the question, of course, with this election is who will benefit from Biden or whatever the Democrat will be getting in versus who will benefit with Trump getting in. Now, normally you would say that this is Israel. You know, you'd say this is rise and kill. This is the Mossad doctrine. They kill presidents, they kill scientists, they kill military leaders, and so on. But of course, in this case, that's maybe the one suspect we could rule out on a simple basis, because many of these Zionist donors are now lining up behind Trump, like the aforementioned Jacob Hellberg and David Sachs and Thiel and Bill Ackman from Wall Street.
We got updates. So I'll give you the mic again. Just I'll only interrupt you when there's important updates. That's good news for everyone. Donald Trump Jr. I just spoke to my father on the phone, and he is in great spirits. That's just Don Jr. I just came in. Sorry, Nick. Sorry to interrupt again.
No, you're fine. So that's really the question. When you're trying to ascertain who's responsible for these things, it is about the billionaires. It is about the interest-based politics. And I guess what's difficult for me is, you know, when you look at that exchange between Reid Hoffman and Peter Thiel, they're both people that are not behind Biden. Like Thiel is, of course.
So guys, I think that Biden is just speaking right now. I'm just going to stream it right now. Stream ASAP from the beginning. So Biden is just speaking right now. We're going to mute everybody and just stream any second, and then we'll go back to the panel. We're getting updates in the meantime. So Rick, just stream.
And I'll get back to you if I do. Okay?
Do you think there was an assassination?
I don't know enough to. I have an opinion, but I don't have any facts. So I want to make sure we have all the facts before I make any more comments. Thank you.
Are you worried about safety? Was the security failing?
The president stopping short of calling this an assassination attempt, but noting that he plans to talk to Donald Trump and that his understanding is the former president is doing well. President Biden speaking out against the scourge of political violence, saying there's no room for this. And as we had reported a few moments ago, the Biden campaign moving to take down its advertising, a pause in its political advertising.
So can you, Ricardo, can you play it from the beginning, please? Because we were a few seconds late with the stream. So you can start it again from the beginning of when Biden started speaking. I'm not sure if a live stream where you can play from the beginning. Let me ask, can you play from the beginning? Biden did not say, so he's going to start playing it from the beginning any second now. But essentially Biden saying that he doesn't know, he has an opinion, but doesn't have enough information. We're trying to find the link of the stream because NBC only posted 13 seconds.
Right, and I'll get back to you if I do, okay?
Do you think there was an assassination?
I don't know enough to.
Yeah, so this is the same clip. So we're gonna find the link for the full stream of what Biden said, and we'll be streaming it now. We're gonna stream it from the beginning, but
well,
just
Biden
on that quick comment.
Biden wouldn't have been told this was going to happen anyway. Biden hasn't got a clue what's going on. Biden's insignificant. No one would have told Biden a fucking thing. So I'm sure he is genuinely perplexed and confused and knows absolutely nothing. I would argue that. When you're going to do anything heinous in the world or anything that's remotely dangerous, you tell as few people as possible. It's on a need-to-know basis, right? I got a lot of heat from feminists once by...
2 or 3 minutes.
Mind-bending.
Secret Service is looking at us from the top of the barn.
Ugly females were
at
complaining at me because I said that I've had a girlfriend for 4 years and she doesn't know my job. And I just said I don't need to explain to her how I make money and what my job is and what I do, because if she ever ends up in a police interview, they're going to hammer her, and it's better if she says I don't know. So something like this, I'm sure Biden knew absolutely nothing about because he's not in charge.
Biden said, I've got the information of what he said while we prepared the stream. So he says the Secret Service is trying Biden's comments regarding Trump. I have an opinion, but I don't have any facts regarding whether Biden was assassinated. Also said there is no place in America for this kind of violence. It's sick. So just very brief comments by Biden. Not too much there. I expected a kind of longer press conference, at least taking more questions.
Well, let's talk about this. Let's talk about this as a meta point. Let's talk about this from a larger point, which I'd be very interested in hearing some other opinions on. Democracy is frail, And it's based on belief in the systems, right? This is what these Democrats and these leftists and these idiots don't understand, is that the harder they erode the system,